Welcome back, boys and some girls. I love reading. Manhwa, manga, manhua, all the three different styles, whatever you want to call them, they all essentially mean the exact same thing, the word comics, just in different languages. Over the years, I've read hundreds of series in between all the three different styles, and only recently I had an epiphany, an enlightenment moment, when I realized why I enjoy manhwa, the Korean one, the most, followed by manhua, the Chinese one, and then finally manga at the very end. Each style tends to follow specific genres and different tropes in it, and this is exactly what this video will be about, the differences in between all the genres, also what's similar between them, and I guess as a side product it's also going to show you what I like and what I don't like. Before we can actually dive a bit into the enlightenment moment and explain to you what I mean, we need to set some ground, some basic explanations, what even are the three different styles and what they mean and what differ and what they share kind of. So let's start with manga, the first one. Obviously manga comes from Japan mostly. You read it from right to left. It's mostly black and white, and also the structure of it is very square, very square. It's ready to fit into a book where you mostly find manga in books. Manhwa, on the other hand, comes from Korea, south, if it wasn't obvious enough, and you read it from left to right. The style also tends to be much longer, elongated, very vertical, and much more narrower, especially because so many of those stuff, the webtoons and things, are targeted toward more digital platforms. So this is why it makes it very perfect for your phone. It's very vertical, so it's much easier to read. Also, manhwa mostly comes colored. I've never really seen manhwa that comes not colored, like black and white, like mangas, but I'm sure there is some. So not all of it. I'm sure there's an exception to the rule. There always is. Manhwa at the very end comes from China. It's very similar to manhwa, the Korean one, with the style and everything. The difference is, the main ones is the colors seems to be a bit more faded, a bit more relaxed. The manhwa, the names. The manhwa from Korea tends to have strong colors. From China, it tends to be more faded colors, and it tends to be a bit more structured, not the same as manga, like very specific squares, but it is a bit more square-ish than the Korean manhwa. Now, this was just surface level stuff, and for you to fully understand what I mean, the differences in my enlightenment, I don't know what to call it, so I'm just going to call it enlightenment. I need for you to understand things on a deeper level, which means we have to go into storytelling and into character tropes. And obviously what tends to be unique for each genre and what tends to be shared between all of them. All the styles have deep stories that can be happy or sad or just basically every other emotion in between. And while there's definitely deep stories for all of them and interesting stories for all of them, it's very hard to say this is better, this is worse, this looks better, this looks worse, because art is very subjective. So it's very hard to tell that this is better, this is bad. For example, I had a long discussion with my friends, a very long one, like a while ago. And we just basically agreed to disagree, because I think that manhwa looks better because of the colors and it's much easier to read. And my friend thinks that manga is better because it's more old style, it's very crammed, it's very like structured. I think that it's worse because it's very hard to see what the hell you're even looking at with like lines being so close and stuff. Basically, you can't agree about this stuff. So what you can agree on, I think, is the trash stories, or basically the stories that you've seen millions of times, that basically repeat the same story, just the characters have different names. And this is what I want to compare between all the genres to make this video a tiny bit more data driven. For this part, we are going to do a little experiment, which I'm going to need your help. It's going to be funny to see what you're going to say. I'm going to describe just random series. I'm not going to tell you the name. And what I want you to do is write down below the number of series that you can basically relate this description to. So I'm going to say like male blah 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 does blah blah blah. You're going to say, okay, this fits with this. So let's write 3. Just write, if you want to add the names of it, go ahead, why the hell not? I just think it's going to take you too much time. Just write like the number, like manga 5, this 2, whatever you have in your head, just it. Let's go. For manga, I want you to imagine a teenager on their way to the store, to the convenience store, very late at night, going to buy whatever they want at night, like ramen or something like that. And when they go there, they're gonna get stabbed, they're gonna get run over by a truck, something horrible is gonna happen to them, they're gonna die, and then they're gonna wake up in a whole different world filled with magical beasts and swords and magic and cute cat girls, and everything is so amazing. And they're gonna have a unique skill that actually makes so the whole world they've been living and the world they are at right now is gonna basically flip on their head, and they're gonna become the main character that is so amazing and is so strong, and they can just basically solve anything, and they can go defeat the evil bad guy and just basically complete the whole mission. And on the way to the evil bad guy, there's gonna be a whole party of, again, cute girls that are gonna follow them to complete the objective. And at the very end, they're gonna defeat an evil blonde guy, because it's always the evil blonde guy. And that's pretty much it. The main character is never gonna kill anyone, because they just don't. That's how they are. And throughout their journey, the main character will be so surprised by things that you, the viewer, actually saw like 8 episodes ago, and we are only on episode 1. Now, for manhwa, I want you to imagine a guy that's really good at something. It could be cooking, it can be engineering, it can be assassinations. It doesn't matter at all what. He's just very good at something. Then his friends are gonna basically betray him. They're gonna leave him to die, and he's gonna get another chance to redo everything with he's gonna have his memories intact. Something is gonna be a little bit different, and this time he's simply not gonna give up. He's not gonna cry. He's not gonna he's gonna correct the mistakes he did before, and he's not gonna be afraid to kill somebody if it's actually necessary. And of course, he's gonna be surrounded by a pack of beautiful girls on his way to the objective, which you will never reach, because the moment you get invested in the series, the studio is gonna drop this series and remake a new one with the same premise but a different name. Lastly, we have manhwa. Imagine an older guy who's super strong, very super strong, and a new guy suddenly appears out of nowhere who can defeat the main character. They're gonna kill the main character, they're gonna be mysterious, nobody's gonna really know who they are, kind of. And then the main character will be revived a few years earlier, either as his former self, so as his younger self, or as somebody completely different that is extremely useless and is in the worst position ever for the main character to actually complete the objective that he wants to complete. Just the worst thing he can actually do. Along the way, we're actually gonna get weird storylines like buying and selling women, because why the hell not? Women are objectives, who the hell care, right? They're just objects, just pay and whatever you want. And we are actually also gonna be wondering if the guys who translated the series actually speaks English, because your bombardment with unpronounceable names, weird factions, weird roles, things that you don't even know what they mean, crazy sentences that makes you reread them like 5 times to just give up and say, okay, that's what they meant, I guess. Now, across all the styles, there are some things that are similar, what we call common tropes, like things like rescuing beautiful women, or wiping the floor with like a bully just for the main character to show how strong they actually are, or making characters act out of character for the sake of creating drama or creating a story where they really shouldn't be. And this is one of the things that annoys me the most, like creating drama out of nowhere or faking a story just for the sake of it, like making a character weak just so the bad guy can escape, and then they're gonna do a whole nother arc with this evil bad guy coming back again and nobody saw him coming back. Ooh, how could we expect this? Things like that kind of makes me annoyed. So this is why I made like a whole different series on this called Stupid Review, and I basically watched anime. I pointed out all the stupid moments that I have in there. If you want to watch that, you can go. And if you want to give me ideas for animes to watch and actual review, I'll be happy to. Now, I've probably already spoiled my aha moment by describing in very like heavy detail all the different styles and what they mean, the difference in between them. And it doesn't matter, I'm gonna say it again. I don't enjoy the emotional arcs where the characters just cry and complain over and over and over again. If you watch me for more than a minute, you will realize that I'm more of a relaxed guy. I'm not gonna jump from one extreme emotion to the next every 5 seconds. That's just not how I work. That's not how I approach emotions and problem solving. That's not how I work. I really dislike using crying as a coping mechanism. I made, again, a whole different video about that called Crybaby MCs and why they annoy me. And to sum this video up, basically, I find it useless. I just crying doesn't make any sense. It's just simply waste your time. So why would you do it? I'd rather go take an action, solve the problem, and just see the character grow from that. Whenever I see characters just constantly crying and making the same mistakes again and again and again, it just makes me feel like it's toxic positivity. It's like never saying, oh, this character did something bad. You have to always say positive things, never say something that's negative. Don't say negative stuff. It's just, I don't know, just that doesn't feel good to me. I just don't like it also when the bad guys are portrayed as pure evil, when some of them do have points for whatever they're doing. Take Jinwoo from Solo Leveling, for example. He starts off crying, confused, he does a lot of mistakes, he does things that doesn't make any sense, and it's fine, I get it, he's been through a lot, it makes sense. But as he grows, both in strength and in character, so does his mentality. He actually fits himself into the narrative. It actually makes sense that he's not gonna repeat the same mistakes again. It's gonna this is what you call basically character development or character growth. You don't need a character to cry over the same thing 5 times, make the same mistake 5 times, then call it character development, like Eren from Attack on Titan, for example, basically does the same mistakes, cries over them, and then, why is this happening to me? Why to me? Why to me? It does the same thing. That's what I mean. It's not character development. It's simply just, again, toxic positivity. Now I get why some people will take this thing as a hot take or like something weird, but for me, it's fine that you do that. It's totally fine. I'm not here to tell you what you should or what you shouldn't like. It's completely fine. I like things, you like other things. Not gonna tell you what, don't yuck your yum. How do you say it? I'm not gonna yuck your yum, don't mind. Something like that. For me, it's different because I don't emotionally connect with humans in real life. So it's almost the same in anime. I'm not gonna connect emotionally with fake drawn humans. So none of them make sense to me. That's why I kind of act the way it is. Just, I'd rather see the characters just go around. I get that you're sad, okay, just, we get it, go solve the problem. Then you're gonna be sad, but less. And that's basically the big difference that I noticed, why I enjoy one thing over the other, and the 3 different like styles in between all the 3 different like manhwa, manga, blah, 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 and why I like one over the other, and basically my rating for each one. And that's all it boils down to, character development and the growth that I see in the character. That's pretty much it. It's very simple. But that's gonna be it. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, let me know why, so I can improve. Peace out, like, keep safe. See you next one. Bye bye.